I am in your walls. Growing up as part of my childhood and my being as I am today, I played a lot of video games. Some that were perfect for family fun, and others that made my parents seriously question my moral fiber as a developing child. No child left behind, right? Yeah, this video is about those games that made for some awkward moments, much like the animes you used to watch and your parents would happen to barge in at the most inopportune time. You know what I'm talking about. We've all been there. My first moment in time is a classic. It was one of my most distinct parental WTF moments. I grew up loving the Jurassic Park franchise. It was one of my favorite franchises next to Alien and Predator, of course. So the game, Jurassic Park Trespasser, had a really creative way of showing you the health bar. Instead of some fancy heads-up display, you literally had to look down at the main character's chest. The issue here was the main character is a female. One day I'm playing and my dad's casually watching from the kitchen as our PC was in our apartment and exposed to the whole living room. After a few minutes he just goes, "Son, why do you keep looking down there?" I had to explain to him that was my health bar. He just burst out laughing and went, "That's my boy." Proud father moment, just not the one I was hoping for. My first hit of survival horror games, something that I became extremely addicted to, was Resident Evil 2. I found a really cool looking cover while staying at my dad's for the summer. I brought my PS1 with me, and luckily his roommate had a bunch of PS1 games, and I grabbed the one that had that really cool looking scary cover that changed me for life. For the better? After that summer stay, I had convinced my mom to purchase Resident Evil 2 for me, and all my mom did was hear these gnarly sound effects from the other room and yells, "What are you even playing in there?" Pretty sure she thought I was conducting a satanic ritual on my PlayStation. Either way, I became highly addicted to these games as a Capcom fanboy that grew up playing the Mega Man X series. Resident Evil, on the other hand, is such a pivot from that subject matter that it definitely had my parents fearing for my sanity. Thanks, Capcom, I love you. Let's talk about a very low-key franchise that is near and dear to my heart and that doesn't get the recognition it deserves. Parasite Eve. Now this one takes the crown for most uncomfortable family moment of my life, and I've had a lot of those. It was summer break, and I was playing Parasite Eve at my grandma's house, and the TV is right there in the living room. I was deep into the game, almost at the end. Then the infamous birth scene happens. Grandma walks in right on cue, stands there, watches the whole thing with me. Her face looked like she had walked in on a live exorcism. Afterwards, she sat my parents down and asked, "Is he okay?" Like I was some sort of demon child destined for destruction. But wait, there's more. Parasite Eve 2 gave me two awkward moments. First, in the beginning of the game, I'm sitting there playing it on the big screen TV at my mom's, and then the gnarly monster transformation scene happens. My whole family just happens to be hanging out for this body horror, and my mom just goes, "Son, what is this?" The second time was the infamous shower scene. This time I'm playing at my dad's house when he just walked in right on time to see the most cinematic part of the whole game. He looked at me, made a face like he walked in on a bank robbing, slowly moonwalked out like Homer Simpson back into the bushes. No words, none needed. He and I have been here before. Thanks for traumatizing my whole ass family, Square Enix. One game that was generation defining, that was completely revolutionary, Metal Gear Solid. I wanted to showcase how awesome this game was to my dad, and I picked the Psycho Mantis fight. You know, the one where he reads your memory card, because we didn't have the cloud back then. We had these little plastic cartridges that would save your game. If you didn't have those, you would have to start at the very beginning. You know, the one where you had to switch your controller from player 1 to player 2 in order to trick Psycho Mantis in order to beat him. Revolutionary and amazing stuff, right? Yeah, except before we even got there, we had to get through the cutscene. You know, the scene before where Meryl's throwing herself very suggestively at Snake like he's the last man on Earth. My dad just gives me this look, but luckily he was joking, stayed for the whole cinematic fight. Thanks, Kojima. I love you too, so very much. And I've got another one before you go, the Jiggle physics game. Back in some time in 2000, my friends were hyped, blasting Linkin Park Hybrid Theory after school, playing Dead or Alive too, like we were training for esports before it was even a thing. My buddy's mom comes in to tell us to turn down the music, then pauses because she notices the patented jiggle physics. She sighed and said something to the air of "boys will be boys," and left. We didn't even pretend to explain, we just turned the volume down like criminals caught red-handed. Thanks Team Ninja and Tecmo, I guess. So yeah, I survived all these awkward moments and I turned out alright, but I know I'm not alone here. What's your most embarrassing game moment your parents walked in on? There are plenty more games that have produced family bonding moments, like Silent Hill or Dino Crisis 2, Conker's Bad Fur Day, and of course Tomb Raider, because for a whole generation that was the first time a lot of us learned what polygons were really capable of. Thank you so much for sticking around. I'm just getting started here, so if you're down for more geeky chaos for gaming, movies, cartoons, and just general pop culture, hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know your awkward gaming stories in the comments. I'll see you later. Or not. I'm not your dad.